Did you know that Tokyo now offers $500,000 per newborn in hopes to increase the fertility rate from 1.2 to 1.4 by 2035? Even at that higher mark, Japan still falls far short of replacement. Immigration is no longer optional, it's math. And that math hands skilled, culture-curious foreigners bargaining power that simply didn't exist a decade ago. Whether you write code, care for elders, design video games, or run a YouTube channel, the next 5 years may represent Japan's most generous open door in modern history. In this video, we'll explore Japan's falling birth rates, immigration opportunities, and more. I want you to picture Japan for a moment. Not the tourist brochure highlights, but the everyday magic. Trains that slide into the station so punctually you could time your watch by the doors. Vending machines glowing on miswrapped mountain roads. And a lost and found culture so honest that the police return wallets, cash included, more than 90% of the time. Now flip the lens. That same country is running out of people to swipe the train cards, restock those sparkling vending aisles, and keep the National Lost Property Office busy. A generation ago, Japan fretted over economic bubbles. Today, it's worried about empty cribs, graying neighborhoods, and whether there will be enough hands to care for the nation's growing legion of centenarians. Over the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through the numbers, because numbers tell this story best, and then show you why Tokyo, Osaka, and even sleepy villages in Hokkaido suddenly want you, me, and anyone else with skills, curiosity, and a bit of Japanese enthusiasm to move in and stay a while. Stick around to the end, and you might discover that Japan's demographic crisis could be your once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Let's start with babies, or the lack of them. In 2024, Japan recorded about 727,000 births. That is the lowest number since the government began keeping track 120 plus years ago. To keep a population humming along, women need, on average, to have just over 2 children. Right now, Japan is at 1.2, and downtown Tokyo is under 1. Why so few? Ask a young couple in Shibuya, and they'll likely rattle off the usual culprits: tiny apartments, long workdays, pricey daycare, and a sheer exhaustion of modern urban life. Others bring up delayed marriages or the rise of happily single lifestyles. Whatever the reasons, each year, the kindergarten roster shrinks a bit more, and local governments scramble to repurpose classrooms into community centers or elderly care gyms. In 1980, only 1 in 10 Japanese were over 65. Fast forward to today, and the figure is roughly 1 in 3. Think about that. 1/3 of an entire country has crossed the traditional retirement threshold. Street scenes reflect it. Exercise groups of silver-haired citizens stretch in city parks at dawn, and pharmacies seem busier than convenience stores. Data paints the bigger picture. Japan's head count peaked at 128 million in 2008. By 2070, the official forecast sinks to 87 million, roughly wiping out the combined population of Greater Tokyo. Along the way, thousands of elementary schools have already shuttered. Rural train routes vanish because the daily ridership could fit inside a single minivan. Some towns literally offer couples cash bonuses, up to $10,000 in yen, for every baby they deliver. An aging society doesn't just tug on the heartstrings, it squeezes the national wallet. Healthcare spending on people over 75 already gulps nearly 1/3 of Japan's medical budget. Meanwhile, the workforce is projected to fall short by 11 million bodies within the next 15 years. That's like New York State disappearing from the payroll. Companies feel the shortage every morning. Ask Toyota. They routinely cite man-hour scarcity as a top production risk. Or talk to the owner of a 24-hour convenience store. Many now lock the doors at midnight because they can't hire enough night staff. The International Monetary Fund calculates that without fresh workers or massive productivity gains, Japan's economy could shrink 0.5% every single year in the 2030s. That is the economic equivalent of giving away a Portugal-sized economy every 5 years. Here's the plot twist. For decades, the outside world viewed Japan as politely closed. Sure, tourists flooded in, but long-term visas, permanent residency, those were Mount Fuji-level climbs. Then, quietly, things began to change. Back in 2012, fewer than 700,000 foreign workers paid into Japan's pension system. Today, it's more than 2.3 million, and the total foreign resident count tops 3.8 million, larger than Los Angeles. Walk through a late-night ramen shop in Osaka's Dotonbori district, and the cooks might speak Vietnamese behind the counter. Hop on a suburban Tokyo bus, and you'll overhear Nepali or Portuguese. The face of Japan is diversifying, and most residents seem fine, even happy, with the new blend. So how exactly do you get in? Japan's lawmakers didn't fling the doors open all at once. They crafted targeted cheat codes for different talent pools. First up, the digital nomad visa. This debuted in 2024. If you make the yen equivalent of roughly 62,000 US dollars, you can park yourself in Japan for up to 6 months while keeping your overseas job. No local sponsor required. Think evening strolls past neon arcades, mornings in minimalist cafes with gigabit Wi-Fi. Second, the Specified Skilled Worker Program. It covers 12 industries screaming for hands: elder care, agriculture, shipbuilding, hospitality, and more. Pass a Japanese language test, land a contract, and you've got up to 5 years, plus an upgrade route to stay indefinitely. Third, the highly skilled professional fast track. This is Japan's talent express lane. Rack up 70 points via your degree, salary, and maybe a patent or two, and you can file for permanent residency after a single year. Yes, 1 year, instead of the previous 10. Fourth, the startup visa. Tech-forward cities like Fukuoka, Yokohama, and even snowy Sapporo now hand entrepreneurs a 1-year runway, show them a viable business plan and a promise to hire locals, and they'll let you test drive Japan as your headquarters. Add it all up, and Tokyo's Ministry of Economy hopes to attract 800,000 skilled newcomers by 2030. Not bad for a country that once debated whether foreign convenience store clerks should even be allowed to sell alcohol. Okay, let's talk personal upside. Cost of living? A chic 2-bedroom along Tokyo's Meguro River rents for about 220,000 yen, a hair over $1,400 US. In Brooklyn, that figure barely scores a studio. Fiber optic gigabit internet, $30 a month. A commuter rail pass stretching across 3 prefectures, around $70. Safety. The homicide rate hovers near 0.26 per 100,000 residents, 15 times safer than the States. Lost phones, laptops, umbrellas, odds are a stranger hands them in within hours. Surveys show 77% of Japanese women feel safe walking alone after dark. That stat alone convinces many expats to stay. Healthcare. Enroll in national insurance 3 months after arrival. You'll pay roughly 8 to 10% of your income up to a cap, and a typical doctor visit sets you back maybe $14. A full course of antibiotics, cheaper than a cappuccino in Paris. Infrastructure. Power outages? You might experience 4 minutes a year. Miss a local train? The next one glides in 2 minutes later. Miss the bullet train? Wait maybe 7 minutes. Grab a matcha latte while you're at it. Then, there's omotenashi. That near-mythical Japanese hospitality. Customs officials hand back passports with 2 hands and a bow. At cafes, you can reserve your seat with a wallet or laptop. Nobody will touch it. On trains, people speak in whispers. Phone calls are practically forbidden by social norm. For many newcomers, the calm feels like entering an alternate universe, where public spaces are treated as shared living rooms. And please don't underestimate the convenience store. Konbini are 24/7 Swiss Army knives, bill payment, Amazon pickup, ticket printing, and gourmet snacks in one tidy package. They're a daily reminder that Japan obsesses over functional design and service. Of course, no paradise is perfect. Here are 4 boss fights you'll want to prep for. 6-month exit rule. Digital nomads must leave after 180 days, so either negotiate flexible leases or schedule a visa hop to Seoul, Taipei, or Bangkok. Paperwork mountain. Japan adores physical forms and hanko stamps. Opening a bank account can feel like a side quest in a role-playing game. A local friend or a paid concierge can cut that quest time in half. Work culture hangover. Many traditional firms still romanticize overtime. If work-life balance is sacred, aim for multinationals, startups, or remote roles. Key money. Some landlords request rake-in, a non-refundable tip equal to 1 or 2 months' rent. Budget accordingly or hunt agencies that specialize in foreign tenants. So to wrap up, Japan's demographic iceberg is drifting closer, and the government is passing out life rafts labeled Digital Nomad, Cis West, and Startup. If you dream of on-time trains, midnight ramen, and neighborhoods where kids walk to school alone, this window may never be wider. So that being said, ready to swap passports for JR rail passes?